Hi, welcome to this edition of Digital Discoveries, and this is kind of an exciting episode because this is our 51st episode of Digital Discoveries. We've been doing this now for a couple of years, and so I want to thank everyone that's been coming along for this for the ride and has been watching our episodes, and so thank you for sticking with us. And I also want to thank the productions team that helps make this every week. It's a pleasure to work with Ashton and Ivan and Ray every week for this. So anyway, so I thought we'd do something a little bit different for our 51st show. And you know, our show is all about using technology and technology integration. And so I wanted to see how well you guys have been paying attention over the last 50 shows that we've been doing. So today we're going to talk about using technology in the classroom versus integrating technology in the classroom. And these are not the same thing. Just because you're using some technology or equipment doesn't mean you're actually integrating it into the classroom, so into your classroom lessons. So this episode is kind of focused on our teachers. So let's talk about the difference between using technology and integrating technology. Now, we're going to go back to some of our earlier episodes that we've done, and you know that I'm a big fan of the SAMR model of technology integration, and that is this little model right there. S is substitution, A is augmentation, M modification, and R redefinition. That's the SAMR model. Now, S and A, the substitution and augmentation, those are the low levels of technology integration. Those are the places where students are just kind of doing the exact same thing with technology that they would normally do with pen and paper or pen and pencil, and so, or paper and pencil. And so we want our students to really get to this level, the modification and redefinition. And when you get to that level in your classroom, that's true technology integration, when you're at modification and at redefinition, when you're using that in the classroom, when you're using technology so much in your classroom that you've modified or you've redefined your lesson plans, then you're truly integrating technology into the classroom. So I want to give this quiz, and this quiz is actually called "How do you know if technology integration is taking place?" And I want to give a shout out to the place that I got this kind of idea from. There's a really cool website called TeachBitescom. It's from Adita Rao, and she's in Houston, Texas, and she does a really, really good blog site. And if you remember from previous episodes, I've been a very big advocate of asking you guys to use other people's blog sites, read what other educators are doing, what they're putting up online. And Adita's got a really good website. I strongly urge you to visit it. Put it on your reader and visit TeachBitescom every once in a while. So let's go ahead and do our Digital Discoveries quiz based on TeachBitescom, inspired by a posting that she did. And so she actually did an entry about are you just using technology, or are you really integrating technology? And so this is a quiz, and so I'm going to ask you the question, and then we're going to decide, is that using technology or is it integrating technology? So is everybody ready? So get out your pens and paper. Don't even have to use a computer for this, or you can even keep score on your hands. There's not a whole lot of questions, so you could do like I think there's like 10 questions here. So this is our first question, and so we're going to decide, is this just using technology or is it technology integration? So if this is happening in the classroom where technology is mostly used in the classroom by the instructor, that's the sentence, okay? That kind of describes what's happening in the classroom. So is technology just being used as a presentation tool by the teacher, or if this is a description, is that just using technology or is it technology integration? What do you think? Well, let's go for the answer. I bet you know the answer. And it, of course, is that's just using technology. That's not really technology integration. If the technology that's being used in the classroom is just being used as a presentation tool, then it's not being used to integrate technology into the lessons. So let's go to our second one. Technology is used to build and construct knowledge. Technology is used, and this means by the students, to build and construct knowledge. Is that just using technology, or is that technology integration? So in other words, in this sentence, or this example here, students are actually using the technology to actually improve their knowledge. They're not just transferring knowledge from one device to another. They're actually improving their knowledge. They're creating content. They're constructing knowledge by the use of some technology device. So is that using technology or technology integration? I bet you know the answer to that one. And that, of course, is technology integration. That's really one of the real definitions of technology integration in the classroom. So here's our next one. Technology is used to build HOTS. Now, most teachers know what the HOTS are. HOTS are the higher order thinking skills. So technology is used to build higher order thinking skills. That kind of goes back to our previous question. So if technology in your classroom is being used and our students are actually using that technology and higher order thinking skills are being exercised in that classroom, is that just using technology or is that technology integration? Again, I bet you know the answer. Of course, that is technology integration, absolutely. If technology is being used at a higher level on Bloom's taxonomy, if it's up there where the students are putting things together, they're using those higher order thinking skills, they're way at the top of Bloom's, and that's really technology integration. And that's where we want students to be. And on the SAMR model, that's modification and its redefinition. So here's our next one. How are you doing so far? Are you doing okay on this? I bet you're scoring 100 already. Technology substitutes for work the same, technology substitutes for work the same work that can be created without technology. So in other words, in this sentence, students are using technology to do the exact same thing they could do without technology. I'm writing a paper, and so instead of writing it pen and pencil or paper and pencil, I'm actually just typing it up. So I'm just substituting. Now remember, I'm using a word there that you should know from the SAMR model. Substitution is the very lowest level on the SAMR model. So is that just using technology or is it technology integration? I bet you know the answer to that one. Absolutely. That's just using technology. It's just using technology. If the students are just using some fancy piece of equipment to do exactly what they would normally be doing in class. So, and we don't want students to do that. We want students to use those fancy pieces of equipment to do something above and beyond what they could normally do with a pen and paper. That's if they're just doing the exact same thing you can do with pen and paper, then why even use it? So, okay, here's the next one. More instructional time in this class is being spent on learning how to use the technology. That's an interesting, because we know that students have to learn how to use the technology, of course, in order to use it. But more time is spent by the teacher actually showing how to use the technology instead of actually doing the lesson. So we're spending more time learning how to Google. We're spending more time learning how to navigate the word processing file. Is that just using the technology or is that integrating technology into the lesson? I bet you know the answer to that one. And that is just using technology. Absolutely, that's just using technology. If you find in your classroom that you're spending way more time just teaching students how to use the technology and they're not actually digging in and delving into the technology, creating content with it, using those higher order thinking skills, and they're still just learning how to turn it on. And every classroom lesson that you have, if you spend half the time teaching them how to turn on, then we're not really integrating technology into the classroom. We're just using that technology. Okay, so let's figure out what's your score so far. I hope everybody's got 100 so far. It's a pretty easy quiz, I think. But let's go on to our next question. So, all right. If our attitude in the classroom is this: we do technology when we can get to it. You know what? Technology is that room down at the end of the hallway. Technology is just something extra that we don't normally do in the classroom. It's we have technology Thursdays, or every other Tuesday is technology day. So we do technology when we can get to it, or we just save it till the very end of the year after the tests, everything's over, then we start using technology. Is that using technology, or is that integrating technology? Well, I think you know the answer to that one. That's just using technology. If the attitude is that technology is just something we get to when we get to it, and if we don't get to it, it's okay, it's no big deal, we didn't get to it, then we're just using the technology. Okay. So let's look at this one here. Technology is a tool just like a pencil or pen in the classroom. Technology is a tool just like a pencil or pen in the classroom. So when students are in your classroom, they have this wide variety of tools in which to use to create content. It can be construction paper, it can be an iPad, it can be a computer, it can be a pen and paper, it can be all different things. It's just another tool. They decide which one they choose and they decide which one to pick up. So technology is a tool just like pen or pencil in the classroom. If your students have that kind of attitude, is it just using technology or is it technology integration? And your answer is, that's true technology integration. If your students are looking at technology as just something to use to complete the lesson or to work on a lesson or to create content, then that is really a good hallmark of technology integration. So if technology is just a tool like any other tool you have for learning in the classroom, that's where you want to be. Okay. Technology is an essential part of the learning cycle in the classroom. So technology is just like, it's just part of it. It's just part of the learning cycle in the classroom. Is that just using technology or technology integration? If your students have the attitude that when they use technology, it's like something way special, it's like, whoa, it's like going out to eat, we're having a fancy dinner, we're using technology, it's like something that they don't normally do. Then it's not an essential part of your classroom. If it's something that's like the previous question, if it's just another tool, then it's an essential part of your classroom and part of that learning cycle. So if technology is an essential part of the learning cycle in the classroom, then you bet that's technology integration. That's a really good example of technology integration. We're getting close to the end. I hope you're scoring 100 so far. I hope you've passed. I hope you're doing good. Technology is used mainly for looking up information on the internet. I've been in quite a few classes where students, all they do is they get up on Google. All the teacher asks them to do is get up on Google and look something up. Go to Google, look something up. Go look something up on the internet. If the phrase out of your mouth is look it up on the internet, and that's all that's being used when you're using technology. Look it up on the internet, and you're using that instead of the old phrase, go to the library and look it up. You know, we used to tell our students, go to the library and look it up. Now if the phrase is go to Google and look it up, then is that using technology or is that technology integration? In this case, it's just using technology. We're just using technology if we're just asking students to do one thing over and over and over again. It's not true technology integration. Students use technology mostly as a solo effort. In other words, when students are working with technology, whatever they're doing it by themselves. They're working in a little silo all by themselves. They're working in isolation. Which is that? Is that using technology or is that true technology integration? Remember, one of the things we want our students to do is to do collaborative work. We want them to communicate across not only the classroom, but across disciplines. We want them to communicate using all the different tools that we have to make them real 21st century learners. But if they're using technology as just a solo effort, then they're just using technology. They're just using technology. That's not real technology integration. How'd you do? That's the quiz. How'd you do? I hope you got all those right. If you missed a few, go back through some of our digital discovery episodes, 1 through 50. You can find them on YouTube. And maybe if you look at some of those SAMR series that we did 5 episodes of the SAMR model. And we did some episodes on the technology application TEACs. If you look at those, then maybe that'll steer you in the right direction if you didn't score so well on this quiz. If you did well on your quiz, then great. I hope that you're actually doing what this quiz asks in your classroom. If you need help doing that, please let our instructional technology specialists know, because they can help you specifically integrate technology in your classroom. Again, I'd like to thank Adita Rao for her really cool website, TeachBites, and I got this from this form that she put up on her website. This was like a really cool form where she actually compared using technology to technology integration. Really nice, and I'd like to give her thanks for giving me permission to actually use that. So, using technology versus technology integration. When you're in your classroom, I hope that you give that a little bit of thought. What are you doing with technology in the classroom? I hope that you're integrating it. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Digital Discoveries. I hope you scored 100 on our quiz. We'll see you next time for episode 52. Bye-bye.